Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel, welcome to part 3 of my Audi S5 heated seats retrofit. Let's go. So if you like this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you like this particular video, then give me that thumbs up. So if I've not already seen it, then please go watch part 1. I'll put a link up there, and in that part we actually removed all of the existing interior and installed the new heated front and rear seats and got them all in place. And in that video it details everything you need to know about actually physically replacing the interior, the front and back seats. So go watch that, that's going to help you if you're doing the same for your car. Then, because that video took me longer than I thought and I put as much detail as I can in it, I then came on to part 2. I'll stick a link up there for part 2. And what that is me actually putting all the wiring for the heated seats, front and rear, into the actual car and getting the wiring to the front. And if you remember on that video, right at the end, I hit a major problem. So what that actually means is I've got a major problem here. And what that major problem was one of these. So this is a body control module. What I had is a body control module that couldn't take the 5th plug in the middle there because it had no pins, and this is what we needed. So we needed one that could take it. Now I've got this one, I'll show you this one close up with a code number. I'm told that this one should do everything I need to be the exact replacement for the one in my car. So I'll put up a picture of my old one and my new one side by side. Here you can see my old one has got a code of N at the end of it, whereas this new one has got a code of P, which means it should have all features that I need for my vehicle. So in this video, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be looking at plugging in VCDS into the actual system, and I'm going to get all the configuration of my existing body control module, make sure I capture all of that information before I actually then have a go at replacing the body control module with that new one that I've purchased. So let's get going. So as I said, we're going to be using VCDS to actually look at what the configuration of the BCM is at this moment, and for this I've got the Hex V2 interface which will plug directly into my car, and we can go read everything configured within our body control module before we actually remove it and replace it with a new one. That way what I can do is when I put the new one in, I can read it again from there and see what differences there is, and then I'll be able to configure exactly what I need and just make sure I get it right for my car. If you don't have set up this VCDS, then I'll put a link up in the top corner there, so go have a look at that, and that will tell you exactly how you can set it up on a computer so you can use it on your car. Now let's get this in the car, plug it in, and let's go have a look at what we've got. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to record the screen as I go through all this configuration, and then you can then I'll play it back in sort of fast time, and if you want to slow it down and look at the configuration that's there, then you can go check yourself as well. So let's start with a full auto scan so it can capture any existing faults. Okay, now we've got that, we're going to save this log so that we can go back to it when we want to. So now what I want to do is to go have a look what the configuration is on the BCM. Now, if you don't know where your BCM is, then if you open that log that we created previously and do a Control F and type in BCM and then find, what the log will then do is find it for you. So there we go, so there's the BCM that's in mine, and if you look, it's telling me it's in Central Electronics, which is the J519 control module. So we need to go into Central Electronics to get the configuration. So select the control module here and go to 09 Central Electronics. That's going to go check on configuration. So what we're going to do next is go to the coding. So there we go, there's the coding. As you can see, look, my module's got the N. So this is the original module that's in there. And this is the current coding. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab that string. I'm going to shove that into a notepad. Now what I'm going to do is just click on the long coding helper, and that'll give you this really nice screen. So now that gives us this. So what this has done is taken that long coding string and broke it down to the individual bytes. So this is byte 0, which is the first 2 digits there, and that's what they actually come out to be. So you see on mine I've got Xenons, and these have been enabled in this configuration. So what I'm going to do now, because I'm going to be recording this screen anyway, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to step through each byte by just hitting this up arrow here, and that will then show me each of the settings for everything that is configured in this long string here. I'll run this through at quick time, so if you want to slow it down and look through it to see what I've got configured and see how it relates to yours, then by all means you can do that. So there we are, that's everything I've got configured in my current BCM. So now my next job is to pull out the one that's in there and install the new one in its place, and then we'll do this again and we'll see what the configuration is and we'll compare them. So here we are looking under the steering wheel sides. So what we've got is this unit here. So let's use this as a pointer. This unit has got a little clip there which you need to press down, and then this will then fold out the way. But what's stopping that is this screw here needs to be undone, so that's a T25, and that nut there, which is supplying power to those relays, that's a 10mm, and that needs to be removed as well. So let's remove those. So that should now allow this relay housing to be swung out the way. So, and there she is. So there's the body control module. So this is the bit we need to get out next. So before I attempt to take this out, I'm going to remove all the plugs. Might be hard getting the back ones, but I'll remove these 3 at this side here. Now to get the 3 back ones, lift this little tab here, and the body control module should just fall out, and we should be able to pull it out and then get access to the back. And that's it, body control module removed. So here's the new one and the old one, and as you can see all these wires look fairly similar. In fact I think they're identical, so that's good. So yeah, I've got the red, orange and black at the back there. This is the heated seats that was on this module when it was fitted in the car. So as you can see, this is a P, that one is an N. So hopefully this will give me all the functionality this had, plus the heated seats bit. So if you look closely in there, this was my problem. As you can see, there's no pins at all there, so it's like a fake socket. So there is no pins in there, so therefore that cannot control heated seats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these plugs out and plug them in there, just so I've got the reference point. And that's that, so now we can refer to this so I know which plug went where, and we can get the new one installed. So let's do that. And as I say, installation is reversal of the removal process. So just to test everything, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop this wire back on there. Don't know what that was, but there you go. So as we now get everything back in place temporarily, we're going to go and get the VCDS now, plug it in, and just let's see what this BCM gives us. So okay, let's start with a full auto scan of the system. Alright, so that's thrown up a lot of errors, but expected it, I had stuff disconnected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all these errors, and then we'll scan again and just see what we've got left. So what we'll do is now we'll fire up and do another scan. So now let's save this as a post BCM install scan. So now let's go look at that post install scan. I'm just interested what that HVAC issue is. Now what I don't know is, I've still got the non-heated seats HVAC unit plugged in here, so I'm wondering if that's wanting to see one with the heated seat buttons. But what I'll do is we'll leave that for now while we go look at the coding and just see what we've got set up on this BCM. So looking in the log, here's our BCM coding string. So I'm going to capture that, I'm going to stick that into here. So let's go check that out. So the way I'm going to check it is I'm going to run VCDS on the new BCM and pull up the video that I did of me going through each of the bytes and compare the configuration between the two on the screen. So here is the video that I did before. So we'll go into, this is live VCDS, connect to my car. So let's select the control module and go central electronics. And when it's scanned, we go to coding. So let's see, long coding helper. Let's see what the difference is if I move this over here. Right. So that's exactly the same. So let's step this on to the next byte. And let's give the video play to the next byte. So I know that we're the same up to the 5th byte here, so I'm going to go through to the 5th byte and let's just see what the difference is there. Okay, so I'm now at the 5th byte, and as we see here, what we had previously on, my car's got high beam assist and AFS menu active. So what we need to do is turn those on in VCDS here, like so. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, I'm going to do that. Coding accepted, so that's really good. So now we'll go back in to the 5th byte again and just make sure that now that should be set, which it is. That's nice, we've got those. Right, so let's have a look at the 7th byte. See what difference we got here. Right, so I had all of these, dynamic steering, drive select, Servotronic installed, so let's enable all those on here. Now on to byte 8. So I had all 0 to 5 was set in mine, so let's turn on all these. Okay, 11. Here we go, so here's the difference. So this has the seat heating installed, so I'm going to leave those bits set, but I also have this easy entry, so I'm going to turn that bit on as well. So I'm matching what was previously there, but adding front heating. Now see if this programs. Go to 12, 16. So what I had was I had ambient lighting active and installed, so let's turn those off on to 17. So bits 0, 2, 3 and 4 are the same. Bit 5 shouldn't be thing, bit 6, but bit 7 I had customized for drive select, so I had that set up on 17. Let's go to 18. Right, so I had automatic transmission personalized for drive select, so those bits need setting like so. So that now matches. Let's code that. Let's go to 19. Right, so this this obviously a 2-door vehicle, which I'm not. Let's take that off. Drive selects charisma configuration needs enabling. Why is that different? So we've got a difference here and I can't seem to change it. I'm going to leave it as 4.8 for now. So let's see if I can code 4.8 in there. Okay, that's worked. Now let's go to 20. So 20, I had bit 1 set air conditioning valve installed. So let's do that and take off the start stop, because I didn't have start stop on don't have start stop on my car. So let's code that in. So 21. So 21 is the same. So 22, same. So 23, same. 24, same. These are all zeros now. 25, same. And 26, same. Okay, so that's good. So this now matches, apart from I've actually enabled heated seats, but I haven't plugged them in or anything yet. I need to wire them all up. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do another full scan of the system and just see maybe if that HVAC's disappeared. And what I might do if it hasn't is go get my updated HVAC unit with the heated seats buttons in, plug that in, see if that clears it.
1 hour later.
Okay, so let me tell you where we are at the moment with this install. So I fitted in the BCM module, the replacement one that I bought with the connector with all the pins in for the heated seat, so that's all good. I've stuck in the HVAC unit with the heated seat switches on. I've put that into the dashboard as well at the moment. Now, when I first programmed it through VCDS, which you watched me do, on the BCM I left the heated seats install as ticked. Now that caused loads of other issues, well, I didn't know it was that, to be honest, but I got loads of other issues as well with things failing on the VCDS scan. So I went back in and I unticked the heated seats, rescanned, and then that was pretty good. It actually come back, it was fairly clear apart from some other things which I'll talk to you about in a minute. But the rest of the errors had gone. There was something about power and all sorts of different things it was complaining about. That's all gone now. But the next problem that's happened, and this is very, very weird, is that, well, let me show you. Now, I'm not sure if you can see that, but that is the level of screen that it is at the moment. Now, I can go in settings here, and I can go into setup, and I can go into the screen part, and I can go into brightness, and I can bring it up, but it's on absolute max, and it's just like normal, what it should be. Normal should be with around here, but look how dull it is. Now, that is also the case with this display in the center console. That is also dull. And yes, I've tried the button down here, and that doesn't make no difference whatsoever. Look, I'm turning it now. It's making no difference whatsoever to that. So they've dimmed all the lights. Not sure if you can see that. So on my drive selects, the auto is there, it's just on, it's just very, very faint. So all those lights have gone very, very, very dim, all the little lights here. So the media button there is pressed, but it's very dim. They're all very dim, they're not as bright as they should be. And the other weird one is none of the interior lights work anymore, which is very strange. Now if I leave the car, and it fully shuts down, and then I come out to it and I open the door, the interior light comes on and then just fades out, and then it won't come on anymore after that, which is very, very, very strange. Also the other issue is when I fit the HVAC unit, all that's happening, you probably can't see because it's dim, but the off switch is just flashing. So that's just flashing. Now I'm wondering if that is part of my problems which I've got left in VCDS, which is component protection, which is what I thought I would get. So I think it looks like I've got 3 component protection issues. One is the HVAC unit, one is the BCM, and the other one is the driver's seat. They're all showing a component protection issue within VCDS. But I'm not too worried about that because I found a local garage here in Hull, which is Ritchie Concepts. Now, I don't know if you remember those names. If you watch my videos, I had this car stage 1 tuned at Ritchie Concepts, and it was fantastic service. So I've rang them up and they say, yep, they can remove component protection. So I'm booked in to go see them next week to hopefully get these bits fixed. It has to be next week because I'm going away for the rest of this week, so I ain't got time to do it this week. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to replace the original BCM back in there just to see if I can get the functionality back and stop all this stuff that's been fading. So that's my next step.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so that's the original BCM put back in the car now. So one thing you might notice here, look, is that these things are staying on now. So I'm holding, you know, fingers crossed that it's something to do with the BCM. So let's turn the ignition on and see whether the screens are back to being bright again. Yes, perfect. Look at that. The brightness is only up there. Yeah, it's nice and bright, and that one is very bright. And look, all these buttons now, you can see them. They're well bright. So it's definitely the BCM. So yeah, I wonder if it is something to do with the component protection. Now, I spoke to the guy when I rang up to book the car in, and he's not heard of this lot dimming and these things not working before. So that'll be interesting, but it's definitely something to do with that BCM. So I'm hoping it's component protection. So let's get down to Ritchie Concepts. Let's get the component protection removed, and let's just see where we are after that. So we are at Ritchie Concept. Let's go in, let's go find Nick and see if he can remove this component protection from my car. So job's all been done, guys. Unfortunately I couldn't film it because of the security aspects to it, so they wouldn't let me to film it. Well, that's fair enough. We've got the car over here now, so let's go and have a look. Let's just see if everything's working as it should be. So we are inside the car, and here's a good sign, look, because the interior lights are on, so that's excellent. So let's just fire the car up. See if, oh yes, look, centre screens come on, it's not dull. That screen's come, shut the door, it's a bit noisy. That screen's come on, that's not dull either. All the lights are showing what they should do. So they're nice and bright, so that's good. Right, here we go. So I'm going to turn this on, so let's see if this comes on. Oh, fabulous, look at that. And the last test is, see the heated seat switch here? I press that, see if the red light comes on. Yes! Excellent. Let's try the other side. Yes! Fantastic. Obviously I've not got the heated seats wired in as yet, but hey, well pleased with that. So I'm now just going to go pay the guy, and then we can get back on our way and crack on with the wiring of the seats. So let's take a look at the front heated seats Protect cable at the BCM end. So that plug is obviously going to plug directly into BCM. That's quite simple. You've then got this thick wire here, which is obviously going to be for power, and it's marked RTWS. And that is going to plug into one of the fuse carriers. I'll show you that in a minute. You then have 3 more wires here. These have actually got the little connectors already on the end of the wire, which is good. So these are marked Weiss, which that one is going to end up going in to pin 14 in the black 32 pin plug on your BCM. We'll have a look at that in a minute. This one is marked Braun. That's going to go to pin 25 of the 32 pin plug. And the last one here is marked Gelb, G-E-L-B. That one is going to go into pin 19 of the 32 pin plug. On for the wiring diagrams, what I'll do, I'll throw them up on the screen so you can pause the video, screenshot and print them out if you need them. So let's take a look at the one that connects to the fuse holder. So this is the fuse holder it's going to go to, and if we remove the security part there, it stops the fuses falling out. We've now got this here. Now to get this out, what you need to do is just press that tab down there, press it backwards, then from the back pull the bottom out first till that becomes loose, and then the top will come out. The top is on like a pivot there. This now comes out. We can now look at the back, and as you can see here, it's got 2 lugs on there and 1 on there. So now we can lift up those lugs. Not sure if I can do it one-handed. So I've released those off camera, so that then allows that to swing back and gives you access in to plug your wire into one of the sockets there. So to do that, what you need to do is take a pick again and just get hold of that and just pop that out like so. That then opens the gaps in here, so you're able to plug a new connector into the correct socket. Now we're looking, the book says position 5, so if you look in here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 does actually have metal at this side, the others don't. So 5 does actually have power to that point there. So when we plug our connector in, it'll go that side, and then we can put a fuse across. So I can put that in first without any problems, because I'm not going to put the fuse in yet. So let's put that in. So you can see I've got the plug here, and I've just pushed it in. I've just put it in place, not pushed it all the way in, and then I've run the white wire down under here to come out to there. So now I can put this into position 5 in the back of here. And that's clipped in there nicely. And that's all we need for the front seats. So I'm going to put this back in place, because I'm going to do these one at a time. Make sure we get the front seats working first, and then we'll work on the back. So I've reinstalled the fuse holder for now, because it's dead easy to get out anyway. All this lot here is my dash cam, so it's just a bit of a pain in the backside. It's in the way while I'm doing some of this stuff, and I've done a couple of fuse taps for it as well, so that's what those are. You won't have those on your car, I wouldn't have thought. So yeah, position 5 is now ready for a fuse. Not going to put that in just yet, because I need to do the rest of the wiring. So now what we need to do is we need to remove the black 32 pin plug from the BCM, and we need to wire our 3 extra wires from the plug into this one. So the way these work is, there's a little bit of plastic. If you look at the end, the white shaped part there, if you just go down this, so in this bit here, at this side, you just need to lift that bit of black plastic up, and then the whole plug will slide out. There we go. So once you've done that, once you've lifted that bit of black plastic up, you can then slide the plug out like so. So that now gives you access to the back to all of the pins. So let's have a look. So the first one is the wire labelled WEISS, W-E-I-S-S, goes to pin 14. These are numbered on the cover, so you probably can't see it, but the edge of the cover has got the numbers on, so put that just slightly back in there. So it goes from this side 1 to 16, and then top row is 17 to 32. So this is WEISS, so this wants to be in 14, 16, 15, 14 there. Clips in, lovely. So the next one we need is Gelb, which goes into pin 19, 17, 18, 19. Now staying on the same side, the last one goes to 25, but look here, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has already got a wire in, which is this one here. So it's already got a wire in. Now the instructions say that if you've got a wire in, then what you need to do, we need to wire tap that onto there. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I've just stripped the wire back there, and I've just wrapped mine around it like so. And what I'm going to do is tape all that up. Okay, that's all taped up. So now what we can do is we can put this plug back together, because I'm finishing here for now. We'll come back to it when we do the rear seats, but I just want to get the front seats working first. So we now should be able to plug the heated seat plug in, and this 32 pin connector. So we're now going to put this fuse carrier back here. And once that's there, put this power back on. So that's all the wiring done for the front heated seats. So now we need to dig out VCDS and enable those seats. Okay, so we've got VCDS connected now. So what we're going to do is we need to go and select the module. And we know it's the central electronics. And then we're going to go into coding, long code helper, and now we just need to step through to find the bit that has the heated seats. Here we go. So this is bit 11, so we're going to turn on those two bits there. which should say we've got heated seats installed now. So let's close that down, and we've got new coding there. Yep, so it's changed this bit here from 4 to a 7, so let's do that. Coding accepted, so that's good. So now that should mean the heated seats should now work. So let's give them a try. Okay, so I'm sat in the passenger heated seat, so let's turn it on and let's whack it up to maximum. And we'll do the same with the drivers as well. Fingers crossed that we get some heated seats. Now, interestingly, the light's gone off there. So pressing the button like I did, turned it to 6, and then the red light for the heated seat just went straight back off after a few seconds. I thought that's a bit strange, so I went and checked all the wiring, and stupidly, because I've wired the front and the rear, I'd coiled up all of the spare wires for the rear and just shoved them out the way. Well, there was one wire that actually comes out of the front heated seats loom early, and it's a big thick ground wire, and I'd missed that wire. So I've now just attached that wire to ground, and now it's time to just try again to see if it works. I have more confidence now because I think that was the fault, so let's try it. So let's check the panel and see if it stays on this time. So turn it on, turn it full on, do the same on this side, full on to 6, right. Yes, look, that's gone back to that, but it's kept the red light on, and so's that one. Ooh, looking good. Right, let me get back to you in a few minutes because these will probably take a while to warm up. I'll let you know if they're working. Yes, we have heated seats. Not very nice today because it's about 25 degrees out there and I'm sweltering in here, and I've got my heated seat on. But yes, my bum and my back are getting warm. This is the passenger seat, and I can feel, yep, it's getting warm in the driver's seat as well. So yes, we have heated front seats. Now just got to wait to hear back from Tech about the rear seats. So it's the next day now, and we're going to get back on to doing the rear heated seats wiring. Now, I wasn't happy with what I think the wires should be on this, and I think they're wrong compared to the schematic diagram that I've looked at. I've been in touch with Tech, the supplier of the cable, and guess what? They've come back and confirmed that yes, the cable is wrong. Let me show you. So this is their cable that consists of 4 wires, and you've got the earth, that is correct. You've got the main power supply there, which is going to supply to the actual heated seats, and that one is correct. My question was these 2 cables. One is marked as Schwartz, which is black, and the other one is marked as grey. Now, when I tested these and see where they connect to on the plugs, one connects to pin 5, one connects to pin 6. But when I then look at the schematic diagram, the one that's supposed to supply power should be on the other pin to what it's actually connected to on the plug, and the one that this connects to terminal 17 on that black plug we connected all the other stuff to on the front heated seats. This one is actually should be the power. So these are very similar thickness. Now this is only a 5 amp fuse, so I think the power for this is just to supply the power to the lights on the switches, whereas this big thick cable here, this is rated about 30 amps. This will supply the power to the actual heated seats. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to cut this one off and put this connector on the end of this wire, and then I can put this into the fuse box to pick up the 5 amp fuse. And again, the wiring diagrams for the rear heated seats, I'll put them up on the screen so you can pause the video, screenshot them, print them out if you need them. So now got that sorted, this cable is now ready to be installed into the car. So again, it's quite straightforward. So there's 4 wires. One is a 30 amp battery, one is obviously an earth, the other one is a 5 amp battery, and the last cable goes to pin 17 on that same block connector that will put the other wires on for the front seats. So now we just need to install the 30 and the 5 amp fuse into the right positions in here, and then we can give it a test. Testing time. Heated rear seats not working. Now I've just done a load of fault finding on this. Because I wasn't too happy with the Cuff-Tech cable, I've proved and tapped out all the wires from the back of the heated seat switches here, and just made sure that all those wires there go to the correct corresponding place under the seat, and they do, so that's good. Now, I've been testing these seats out. I was looking at the diagrams. You should be able to see the diagrams. If you look in that diagram, there's an occupancy switch on the heated seat. Mine hasn't got the occupancy switch, which is a bit weird. So the plug on the heated seat has got nothing between a couple of pins where the occupancy switch should be. So I don't know if this is an earlier version of the heated seat, because you should really always have occupancy switches. But anyway, I can get round that. The only problem is that if someone got in the car, turned the heated seat on, then got out, next time I come to use the car, that heated seat is going to be on all the time, you know, because there's no occupancy switch to say nobody's in the seat, don't turn it on. I don't think they're going to be used that much anyway. I'm kind of doing this because they're there. Let me show you what I've done to get them working. So at this moment, the occupancy switch should be across that pin there. I think it's 4 and pin 7. Pin 7's the earth. The occupancy switch on the seat basically just passes an earth vac onto this pin 4 to the actual heated seat switch. So all I've done is I've put a looper wire, that's what this is, that's looped an earth into that position there, and then it worked. The seat is now getting warm that I'm sat in. Now for some reason the light on the front doesn't light up, so I get no light. I might have to have a look at that later. I'm not sure if that's just a dodgy switch or something. But what I'm now looking at is I've got my probe in to the actual output from the rheostat here. So this rheostat is sending now 12 volts to the seat to heat it, and the seat is getting warm. So all I'm measuring is the 12 volts across there. Reason being is when I first put that loop in, it was great, and then when I turned everything off, the heated seat, well, it's on now, and there's no engine, there's no ignition on or anything, so it's actually on now. So it's on permanently once the rheostat's on, which is not what I want. So I've looked at the wiring diagrams. It don't really tell you which ones are switched and which ones are permanent batteries. So what I'm doing now is I've gone into the back of the car where these should have been wired to in the original vehicle if you bought it with rear-heated seats. But obviously my Cuff-Tech wiring cable had to go to the front because it had to get one wire to that body control module. So I've wired my two batteries. There's two batteries, 30 and a 5 amp. One 30 amp one supplies the power to heat the seats, and the 5 amp one supplies the power to control the rheostat switch. So I went into the back and looked at the fuse positions that these are supposed to be in, and yes, the 30 amp is permanent, but the 5 amp is a switched battery. Now what I've done when I've wired mine up in the front there, I've wired them both to permanent batteries, so that means it's always on. So I'm going to go now and pull the 5 amp fuse, and hopefully the 12 volts stops getting supplied to the seat, i.e. when I turn the car off. So let's go check that. So we're around the front of the car now, so there is the 12 volts that's coming out. So I'm just going to get a fuse puller. That is my 5 amp fuse, so let's just pull that out. So I've pulled it out, i.e. made it a switch battery because the engine's off. Yes, so that's it. So now I've removed the power to the rheostat. The rheostat says, oh, I'm not going to send 12 volts to the seat anymore, so therefore it's not going to be on when I turn the key off. So that's perfect, that's what I need. So what I need to do now is I need to get that wire out of there that I put in, and if you see all these 5 amperes down here, these are all switched. So I'm going to see if I've got a wire tap that can go into one of these and just ride on the back of that, because I don't think the one in the middle there I can get to. So I checked in my box of tricks and I didn't have any of the fuse wire taps that I required. So I then ordered them, and it's the next day now and they've arrived. So this is what I've got. So this is a mini blade fuse wire tap. So you can see from here, you basically use the back of it here to insert the fuse for your new connection, and the original fuse that you're going to tap into goes in the front of this, and then just plug it into where the original fuse was and put your wire on the end of there. Perfect. So first of all, I need to do a little bit of work on the rear heated seat switches, because remember the occupancy sensor is not in my actual rear seat bench, so therefore I have to put a loop across the back of those switches to replicate that occupancy switch being in the on position, otherwise they'll never work. So let me go do that. So here's my two little loops, and now all I need to do is tap them into the wires here and on here. Alright, so that's those now installed and all taped up, and what we need to do now is go install a fuse in the front there, and then we can come back and do the final test. So that's that installed now. So I've tapped into this last fuse here, so you can see the two fuses in the bottom. One is mine for the seats and one was the original that was in this slot here, and then that just goes off to the wire that was left hanging there. So now let's go test them. So here we are in the back now, and let's just turn these off. So let's see if they work. So I've got my meter here, and what I'm going to do, my diagram shows that to get power down to the heated seat here, it's pin 2 from the back of this switch, and so that'll be earth, and pin 2 should have 12 volts across it if it's working. So let's put the meter into pin 2 there, and the earth there. Right, so meter's showing nothing, so hopefully when I rotate this switch here, then the meter should go up to 12 volts or 13 volts. Yay! Hey! So that now means it's sending the power through to the seat. So let's turn them both on and let's feel them get warm. So yes, these are nice and warm, so I now have rear heated and front heated seats retrofitted into my Audi. So I just need to tidy up this rear panel here, get all the tools out, tidy up a bit at the front there, and job is complete. That's it, it's all back together now, so that's fantastic. Everything clicked back in place and it's looking great. So now let's sit in here, and what I can do is I'll set the camera up and I'm going to break down all the costs for you. Okay, so I've got on this piece of paper, I've itemised all the costs that this job has actually cost me to do it. So let's go through these. So you saw that I bought the front and rear seats, which included all the door cards and the door card trims, and you know, that was lucky for me. They had rear heated seats, which is, I didn't think I'd get that anyway, but they came with them, so that's great. They cost me £800 off eBay, and that was delivered on a pallet to my house, so that saved a lot of cost for me trying to get these delivered here. We then needed the Couvatech heated front seats retrofit cable. I'll put a link to that down in the description if you're thinking of doing this job, so I'll show you where you can get that from. That was approximately £53. It was in euros, but it's approximately £53 direct from Couvatech. I then needed a replacement HVAC, which had the buttons on for the heated seats. Now, I'll put down in the description the code of the HVAC that I bought and the code that was on my previous HVAC, so if you're doing the same job you can just check your codes, and then if your same codes as mine, you know that this one will work with yours. That was only £17 off eBay, so that was a bargain. So then we hit the problem with the body control module. We needed the high one, which has everything in it. Again, I'll drop below the component code of my original one and the one I replaced it with, but that ended up costing me £50 second hand off eBay. And then when we banged all this together, if you remember, it didn't work because I had component protection was showing up in VCDS. So we had to get the component protection removed. Very specialist job, but Richie Concepts come through for me on that, and they charged me just £96. It was £80 plus VAT. So £96 to have the component protection removed off the HVAC, the BCM and the seats. So that's well worth every penny. So now if you're looking to do the rear seats as well in yours, this is the details for just the rear seat components. So again, we need the Couvatech heated rear seats retrofit cable. That was £44 direct from Couvatech. The rear heated seat switches, so that's some little rear stat things with the thumb wheels on. They're not cheap. They were brand new from eBay, but they were £76.80. Probably maybe you could get some second-hand ones, but I reckon you still pay £50 for second-hand ones, so you might as well get the new ones. Now, I had, for them to fit into the rear heated seat center console, I had to get that center console panel. Now I looked on eBay, there was like £25–30 for a second-hand one. I went direct to Audi, asked them how much for a brand new one, £44 brand new. So I just bought a brand new one. What's the point of getting maybe a damaged old one? And yeah, it's perfect. So that brings the total cost for the front seats only was £1,016. The total for just the rear seats bits you needed was £165. So that brings the whole total for the job to £1,181. Now, I can imagine you all falling off your chairs thinking, what, £1,100? But don't forget this, you can now sell the parts that you took out of this car. So at the moment, I've got my old seats up on eBay and Facebook Marketplace, and I'm hoping to get £650 for those. My HVAC unit, well, I paid £17 for this one. I reckon I get £15 for mine off eBay. My old BCM, again, I'll get £50 for that for someone who's got a faulty one. They want to swap it with me, man that works. And then the rear centre console panel, I could sell that on eBay for £25. So adding all that up, that adds up to £790. So therefore, when you put it all together, the total purchases minus the total that I sell equals £391. Now, if you can sell your original seats for more than £650, you're going to drop that money right down. So it's only cost less than £400 for me to retrofit heated seats. And you know what? To me, it's worth every penny, because I hate getting in a cold car with cold seats on a cold morning. So it's been worth every penny of this job. So there you go, YouTube. I've now got heated front and rear seats in my B8 Audi S5. And yeah, it's cost me a few pounds to do this, but it's worth every penny. I really enjoyed it. It's not a simple job. There is a lot involved. You may need to check, for instance, the BCM code that your car has, and make sure you get the correct BCM, which includes everything your car's got, plus heated seats. So you've got to do a little bit of research, really. And but I think it's very satisfying when you actually do the job. But yes, this job does take a level of skill, but to be honest, it's not that hard. I've given you every bit of detail in this video to hopefully help you to go find and source the parts you need for your vehicle and everything that you need to do to get this working. Don't forget, you'll also need VCDS or access to VCDS. That's not a cheap thing. It cost me about, I think, well, VCDS itself is free, but you need the interface. That was, I think, £300, maybe get it less than that. But the times I've used that now, it's paid for itself. Because if I've had to take that to Richie Concepts to program it for me, which you should be able to do as well, then that would have cost me, I don't know, maybe another £100 or maybe more. And I wouldn't have known exactly what I wanted of them. I mean, I've been sort of messing with it and getting logs off it and things like that. So yeah, it's been quite fun using the VCDS of my own. So anyway, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry that it's took really long. It's probably one of the longest videos I've done, but I really didn't want to do a part 4. I wanted to get it finished in this part 3, so I've made the part 3 a bit longer than I would have really liked. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and give me the thumbs up if you really did enjoy this. Drop any comments below, any questions. I'll try and get back to you. I'll try and help you where I can if you have any queries, and even just drop a comment saying if you've done this and any problems you encountered which could help other people watching this video. But thanks again, and thanks for watching. Until the next time, stay safe.